friends, it's Tracey from Tea Time with Tracey and Violet. Violet's out there with my grandbaby watching some Christmas cartoons. And I'm sorry I haven't put a video up in a few days. The last video was a book haul, which I had pre-filmed about a book haul and had it scheduled, so. But I've just been so busy. My family's home for Christmas, so I'm ecstatic, but I have a book I want to talk to you about today, but I have a cup of tea right here. I got a fire going. It's cold out, and this is some, wait, before I do that, I'll show you my teacup now. This is a unique teacup because the cup and the saucer don't match, but a friend of mine sent this to me, and I thought it was perfect. We're not all uniform, right? So when it's like this, kind of looks like it matches, right? But pow, flowers and fruit. Yeah, but it's beautiful. She has gold all around the top. Her whole arm is gold, like dominant much, and her whole slipper is gold. She stamps her foot when she walks into a room. Yes, she does. And then this saucer, it's that same color, green-ish, and there's gold around the edges, and then the gold here and here, and it's beautiful, beautiful. So the teacup came from established 1775, Annesley, made in England, fine English bone china, and with the number 103441. It's marked, baked on with marker some sort down at the bottom. And then her skirt or pedestal came from Paragon, H.M. the Queen and H.M. Queen Mary, fine bone china, England, registered A677/8. So, but every pot, right, has a lid. Every teacup has a saucer. Whether they match or not, they go together, and these two go together. So, and I actually broke out one of my, I think I have another one, Christmas teapots. Ow. I've let this steep for a good long time. I had to go down and get some kindling and stuff like that. There, isn't that beautiful? Very festive. So, this is apple cinnamon senses tea. And that's what we're going to have today. And I'm going to drink this whole pot, so I'm putting it up on the stove. Not directly on the stove, but I have like a little lifter there. And she'll stay nice and warm, so I need to have a whiff of this. Now, I can't guarantee my grandbaby's not going to pop his head out around the corner, but oh, glorious. Burn my face off. Deliciousness. But he's 4 and he won't pay attention to what I'm saying. So anyways, I wanted to talk about Dan Simmons' The Terror. Yes, I've read several, well, not a whole bunch of Dan Simmons novels, but this is the latest one. I read it back in November, and it's a mammoth book. I've read longer books, but this one took all month to read for me. Like, it wasn't, I don't find any of his books you can just sit down and breeze through it. They're very dense and very in detail. This one especially, I'm telling you, right off the bat, I'll tell you I enjoyed it. I did. It's a horror, historical horror kind of story. I had to make notes. I had to make notes about this book. I don't generally have to make notes, but let me read the back of it for you. The men on board of HMS Terror, part of the 1845 Franklin expedition, the first steam-powered vessels ever to search for the legendary Northwest Passage, are entering the second summer in the Arctic Circle without a thaw. Stranded in the nightmarish landscape of encroaching ice and darkness, endless cold, they struggle to survive with poisonous rations, dwindling coal supplies, and ship buckling in the grip of crushing ice. but their real enemy is even more terrifying. There is something out there on the frigid darkness, an unseen predator stalking their ship, a monstrous terror clawing to get in. Yeah, that's Dan Simmons right there. But, and this copy like this. And I guess this is a show. I've never seen the show, but I did read the book. So this book, 700 and some pages. 766 pages. Yes. But yeah, I highly recommend any of his books. Every single book I've read of his I've enjoyed, but it's something they're the books that stick with you. They stick with you. I've read this a month ago, and well, almost a month ago, and I remember the story clear as day, but I still had to make notes because there's so much in it. So I wrote it down, and I'm not the greatest. There you are, Violet. How kind of you to make an appearance. So yeah, I wrote down 1845 Franklin expedition. There was 2 ships. This just says the HMS Terror, but there was 2 ships, and this apparently happened. Like, there was an actual Franklin expedition. I didn't really know much about it before I read this book, and even though this is a fictional book, this is just Dan Simmons' take on what might have happened. There was a Franklin expedition in 1845. There was 2 ships, Erebus and HMS the Terror, and they're looking for this Northwest Passage. So basically what happens is these 2 ships they're on their merry way, the northern parts of Canada, and it kind of hits home with me. My mom, who is an angel now, she was a nurse way up in the Arctic Circle in remote communities, Inuit communities and things like that. So whether they reference some spots in this book where I know she knows where they are. Skedaddle. That's him, Evie. And anyways, yes, these 2 ships get stuck in the ice looking for this Northwest Passage. That's just the beginning of the story. Oh, wonderful. You should taste this, Violet. Anyways, the way Dan Simmons describes the ships and the landscape where they're at, like these 2 giant ships, wooden ships. Go on and watch your thing-a-ling. It's very haunting. It's very haunting. These giant ships are stuck in ice. In the ice, at first, when they're first stuck, the captains of these ships aren't too worried about it because they're chock-block full of supplies, of coal, of food, and they think, oh, they'll have to wait out the winter and then the ice will thaw and then they can go on their merry way. Doesn't work out that way. Doesn't work out that way. Add a year, add another year, and they're still stuck in this mother flippin' ice. So that's just the shell of this story. So back in 1845, they don't have the conveniences of what ships are these days. I haven't really been on a ship working. My mother has, and I've heard stories, but you know, everything's all, I'm sure it's still very difficult. All right, give me some space. But in 1845, everything was manual. Everything was manual. So being cold and trying to heat a ship with coal or whale fat or anything like that, after a year, after 2 years, your supplies dwindle down. Some of the canned stuff that they had spoiled. So if they would eat it, they'd get deathly sick. It's hard to give spoilers about this unless I told you the big things in it. But there's just so much in this book. So much in this book. I can't express enough how claustrophobic this must have been if this was real. The 2 ships were within walking distance of each other, but still within an hour's walk of each other. They weren't just a stone's throw away. So communication between these two ships weren't on the regular, just, oh, hey, how you doing? And the people on these ships that would have to cross back and forth to communicate would have to bundle up and bundle up and bundle up. And I'm in Canada, and I'm not even in the coldest part, the coldest province of the country. But up north, whoo, Nelly, I've never felt that kind of cold. And to feel that kind of cold in 1845 without the protection that we have nowadays, they would have to be bundled to the max, and they'd probably still be cold, which makes it sound like it is in this. Like, they can't take their gloves off for more than a minute without their fingers freezing. And I know that's how cold some places here in Canada get. It's bananas. So I'm not really getting to the timeline of what goes on in the story. So these two ships are stuck. This book has several point of views. You get a point of view of the captain of the Terror and the captain of the Erebus and several of the crew members. You get the point of view of the doctor, and that comes in the form of journal entries, which is really neat because they're almost non-biased, kind of. So you get his perspective from a professional dealing with the underbelly of the crew that are dying of scurvy, that are dying from different diseases, slowly of starvation. And then not even to mention the psychological things these people are going through. And in the Arctic, it could be 24 hours light or it could be 24 hours dark. So depending on the time of year, they might be living in darkness 24/7. So I have to say, I didn't even look at my freaking notes. Stuck in ice. Yeah, 2 years. Bone chilling. It's bone chilling. Bone chilling. But I have to say too, Dan Simmons did so much research for this book. He had to have. Had to have. His other books are phenomenal. But for the historical elements in this and things, this is like a PhD thesis to me. Like, so much research was put into this book. I got it hands down. I've never read a book with so much research that I'm aware of, honestly. So this isn't an easy book to read for me. Some people say they fly through it. I couldn't fly through this. I read it, and I even used some of it on Audible. I don't generally do that, but like if I was going for a drive or when I go to bed, I listen to it for a half hour so I can listen to it in the dark before I fall asleep. Things like that. And I have to say the Audible edition of what I heard of it was fantastic too. But this book has so many characters, and you see what 6 months to a year to 18 months to 24 months, what it does to the person's mind, what it does to the tier system of the authority, and trying to hold on to any bit of hope. Throw a dash of paranormal up into there, because get this, for those that don't know this book, which I think a lot of people do, there is a beast on the ice that are slowly picking off the crew members. And they can't seem to shoot it, they can't seem to catch it, they can't seem to get a good look at it. But something is out there picking off the crew members, and everybody's terrified, but they're trying to hold it together. And you see the struggles what some of the higher ups have to go through to try to keep their crew motivated, to try to prevent any potential mutiny, and have to make hardest of hard decisions whether to even bother staying on the ship or not. Is it worth staying on the ship? Or branching out, exploring? A skeleton arm. You take it on out, boob. Yes, Violet likes that. She's... Anyways, yeah, this beast, bigger than a polar bear, we know that. Can walk on 4 feet, can walk on 2 feet. Very furry. Monstrous, huge. You don't ever get a full description, and you don't really know what it is. And to be in a barren, frozen wasteland, trying to hold a crew together that after a year or two are falling apart mentally and physically, it's terrifying. It's terrifying. And this book flashes back in time to like a few of the characters before they left on this expedition, when they were younger, potential love things, you know, all sorts of things. This book also has some Inuit culture in it too. There's one character in the book, her name is Lady Silence. I will say she is on the ship because she was out on the ice with an older gentleman that never found out whether it was her husband or her father or her brother. They never knew. They ended up shooting him dead and taking her capture because they were scared she'd go back and tell her savages, is how they would call, you know, the culture, and then they'd be attacked. So they'd call her Lady Silence because she had her tongue cut out. Like before she got there, she didn't have a tongue. So you don't really go into her point of view, but she's in a lot of the scenes. She comes and goes and nobody knows how she does it, what's the significance. Some of them call her a witch. Some people, like the people with authority, stop talking like that. That's blasphemous. You'll be killed or lashed or anything like that. Heathen ways sort of thing. This isn't a fantastic review. It's not really even a review. I just wanted to talk about it because it was an experience. I didn't find it terrifying in the sense that, oh, I was scared, you know, I couldn't go to sleep at night. But if I had to be one of these crew members, I don't know if I would have been strong enough to make it as long as some of these people did. Now, in real life, nobody was ever found from this expedition. I think, and just, I don't know 100%, in 2014, the Erebus ship was actually found. No crew members were found, I don't think. And then I don't know for sure, but I thought I heard somebody say in 2016 the Terror was found. But nobody ever knows what happened to these poor men. And I really liked the way that Dan Simmons made the story go. There's a lot of facts in here, I think, but a lot of fiction in here too, because how would he really know? But in regards to the historical goings-on of what sailors would do, the ranks, the orders, the punishments, things like that. But this book will make you feel freezing cold and lonely and just, I don't even know the right word to say about it. I would recommend it for sure. It is a long one. For me, these aren't, like I said, these aren't the books I can breeze through. I can breeze through a 700 page book in a couple of days if it was one that could do that. His books are not like that. A Summer of Night I read, which I'd like to talk about. I read it a while ago, but I remember that clear as day too. I think that might be my favorite. Or Children of the Night. I read that one, and I read A Winter Haunting. I love them all. I really do. None of them are like flashy or anything. They're all, I don't know, just soak into your being and make you feel like you're there. You're just an invisible person walking around in this world. And this is not a good world. but he portrays it fantastic.
Nana.
So, what, darling?
I was scratching too much on the couch, so I won queen.
Okay, just hold your horses. I'll be right with you, okay?
Okay, so bye.
Okay, bye. All right, I gotta go because little Buster there needs some help. But yeah, I know there's a lot of reviews on this book on BookTube that would give you more of a timeline and different things. I just have to say, I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad I read it, and I continue to try to find other books of his to read, but they're not light reads, I don't find, and they're not dark in the sense that there's paranormal in this, but it's not like the main horror. I don't find it's the main horror in this book. The main horror is the human psyche, the humans. The humans are the horrific element in this story, even though there is a paranormal, or is there? I don't know. You'd have to read the book to find out. And even then, you might be asking, is that real or not? But it's worth the read, and I would recommend it. So, anyways, thanks for joining me. And Violet, she's here beside me by the warm fire, having some tea. I'm gonna drink the rest of that pot this afternoon, so, and I got a roast beef dinner to cook, so. All right, guys, I'm gonna say peace, love, and happiness today and every single day. Please like, share, and subscribe if you so choose, but if not, that's okay too. I still love ya. I still want all the happiness in the world for each and every one of you out there. I certainly do. I really, really honest and truly do. Yes, I do. So, you better not shoot me in the head with that.
Okay.
All right, guys. Well, with that, I'm going to say have a good night or have a good morning, and I might see you tomorrow. Bye. Bloop.